Hello all, we are here for the lesson number 47 of this VariCAD training course, and this lesson is called title blocks. With this lesson we start complete and last new chapter of this training course, and on these three remaining lessons we are going to see about title blocks in this first one, then bills of materials and solid attributes. So to start with this lesson of the title blocks, I will open a file which I previously prepared, and the file is this one. Okay, I've prepared this drawing with the format of a title block. Just to clear, I haven't made any definition of the title block, just made a couple of lines that you see on the screen and insert a couple of texts. This is the basic preparation which you can do with your own format for the title block you want to make. This is one format I like, but you can use whatever you want. So reach this point, we have these lines and these texts with these formats. Okay, so let us see what can lead us now to work with title blocks. So at this point we go to this objects menu, either on 2D or 3D side, it's the same, and we do this function here: booms, attributes and title block settings. So we get this big dialog box with a lot of information, and we will come back to this dialog box because this has to do also with bills of materials. And in fact, if you see these four fields here exported in title blocks to tables or formatted text, here you have a definition of, for each attribute which is defined on the system, where it is going to be used. So you can see that in title blocks only some of these attributes are used, in this case 3 only. So I'll try to make a new definition and to show you how to work with this. So first step here is to go to this function title block definition, and we can have several title blocks. The idea is you can have one title block for example, for each customer you have, because sometimes they require a specific format with specific fields. So you can have one title block per use, per customer, whatever you want. So we will create a new one. So new title block, and we need to make some definition. The first one is to give a name to the title block, and I will say CADsoft VariCAD, simple. Then I could use this function, select it from file or from 2D objects, which is what I'm going to do at this moment, because I've made the preparation before. So choose them, and the first thing to do is to choose the insertion point where the title block is going to be inserted every time it is called. So I will use this lower right corner, and now choose the objects and enter to finish. Okay, save it on a file, just saying title block CADsoft, whatever I want, and save it. Now I will say where to use this: assemblies, on assembly files, on part files, or as we saw in one of the previous lessons, for documents without this status defined. So I can leave for all these kinds, it doesn't matter at this moment. We can make the definition also for which is the point that is going to be used as insertion point, in this case the lower right corner, and the relative coordinates in X and Y regarding the selected corner. So I will say, to avoid to leave this on the lower extremity, I want this a little up to fit on the format I'm going to insert also, and you will understand that when I insert the format. I will say on the X -5 and on the Y 5. Do the OK, and the title block is created. So OK, very easy. So I think not very difficult to understand this concept. After this is done, we need to make the definitions of the fields to use on the title block. I don't have this prepared to avoid eventual mistakes, so I will try to use some of the attributes which are already defined, make a new definition of these attributes to show you how to work with this. But basically, if we change one of the attributes that we have already on the list, or come here and say create a new one, the process, it is the same. So no need to make new ones in this particular case. So I will use these fields here to insert some value, some information, which it is defined in this dialog box. So let us start the assembly. I can use this attribute here saying the name, and click with the right mouse button, so edit, and every time we do the addition of the attribute we have to go through these options here to make the definition. Some of them not very important for the title blocks, others are important. So attribute name, we have it already, name, type and value. So it is a text value or other. Okay, it is good for this attribute. Required, if it is always, if only manufacturer or purchase, or not mandatory, and in this case you will have the option to say or not what you want to insert. So I will use, for this particular example I'm showing, I will put in all the attributes always, so that we have the definition. Output to tables, it is for the next lesson, the same here. Group, it doesn't matter. We can say this also copy value from the assembly. It's not at this point, we did not see how to use this, so I will not use this option. Also for the sort criteria, and we can use also this position here, taking values from 3D solid or 2D area. Countable sums, this is a text attribute, so this cannot be used. And important here, display values in title blocks. So here I'm going to say which are the title blocks where I'm going to use this parameter. So click on the CADsoft VariCAD, display it here, and we can have the text attributes. Okay, in this particular case it is a big place, so 5 it is okay, and define the location. Block insertion point, it is this one, and I will insert here. Very good. Okay, so now this is done. Now for the customer, for example, I'm not sure if I have, okay, I have one for the customer. Again, edit, let us speed this a little. Type, it can be a text, also required, always. Display value in title blocks, this I will say this should be a little smaller, so 3. and location. You see it's a little bigger than the other thing on top, and do the OK. Now let us do the quantity. I'm not sure if I have a new one, but we can use for example, okay, I don't have, okay, I have one quantity here, so edit, type and values, it's an integer required, let us say, we can use a different thing here, for example, not mandatory, it is okay, countable value. I can use instead, let us say, required always. Okay, let us leave always. Countable display again on title block. This is 3, it is good. So here, very good. Going to the next one, I will say the tolerance. I'm not sure if I have one here that it fits in this category, so maybe I create a new one. So tolerance, type and values. This is a general one, text value, required always, display, you know already this step, probably here a little smaller, 2, and location, okay, and okay again. The scale, edit, it can be this, required always also, display text, okay, and more. Let's use one of these also, it is enough. Or for example, the date, okay, I have one here, date, and the same date time required always, display, you know it already, this step 2, so date, I could have, now the date is here, I could have different things, date 1, date 2, date 3 for different, here for the different fields. Okay, I will leave this, I think it is enough to show how to work with this, okay? So now, for example, I will start a new drawing in 3D. I will make, I put here a couple of solids, for example, this one, okay, 2 solid, it is enough. I will go to the 2D. I could make a projection, whatever I want. Okay, is good. Okay, to simulate the use. Now, if I want to insert the title block, objects, fill, I can use the insert title block, this one, the one I've defined, and it is inserted, okay? But if you see, I don't have anything fulfilled now, and now I will fill them. So I come to this list, you see these little yellow signs that say what is missing. So I have all the attributes I had, but only the ones or if I did not make any mistake, only the ones that I had as defined to insert in title blocks and that I put with always, they have yellow sign. Okay, there is one or two, for example, this material, I had it defined but not required, so no need. So I will come to each one of these, click and say example part and do the OK. The quantity, if I don't have a boom, a bill of materials, so I will say 2 parts. Manufactured, okay, it is manufactured, it is okay. The date of today, if manufactured, so drawing number doesn't matter because it will not appear in my title block. Scale, I can get the drawing scale of the 2D. The tolerance, I would say DIN 1601, and I think all of them. Oh, I had, I'm not sure if I was missing some of those, probably not, and do the OK. And now I must go to the same place and say, okay, open this and fill it. This one, where is the insertion point? Here, and it is fulfilled. Okay, as you can see, probably the places are not perfect because I missed the customer. I did not put, probably did not put that as always, so it did not ask me. But this is the concept to work with this. So the information I inserted, it is here. Okay. There is one or two other options inside. For example, if I say update it, then immediately, okay, it's asked me again, and I need to insert it again. Okay, new definition, insert it. Okay, it is here again, but it was with the idea of putting new data. I can have this also. I have no definition on the solids that are on the 3D, but if I had attributes, for example, instead of having an assembly on the 3D, if this was a drawing of one particular part, I could copy the attributes, and if the title block was prepared to get those attributes, I could come here and say copy from solid, and automatically I fulfill this. So I think it is easy to understand, and we will complement this information on the next lesson when we see how to work with the bill of materials to get the attributes and to fill automatically the list. So when I do this kind of thing, and if you remember, I spoke of giving a distance from the corner, the insertion corner, I give a distance on the X and the Y axis. So this is the distance I got, because when I try and go here and make the insertion of the sheet border, in this case it is an A3 format, you see this is what it happens. So I have a definition of 5 millimeters here and 5 millimeters here. So what I've done when I made the definition of the title block was to separate from this point 5 millimeters in each of the axes. So basically this is the way to work with the title blocks. We can have more things. I think they are going to be clear for you when we see the bill of materials and how to make the definition of the attributes in solids. But on a very easy and clear way, this is the way to use this functionality that, in my opinion, it is very useful, especially if you work frequently with different title blocks that need to make a lot of definition and a lot of data for different situations. So this is an automatic way, and I think very quick, very easy. So this is finished. I hope to see you in my next lesson.